What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All the Things Sorta Truth, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sorta Truth series with a saddlebag full of craft brew on the side. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade.
And this week we're going to be talking about Chapter 46 of Wizard's First Rule. That means we are 3 chapters away from the end, and we are excited to get there with all of you.
Yes, we are.
So before we get started, I wanted to bring up the giveaway. We've had some entries for that. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it, and we cannot wait to announce the winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep those flowing in. You can do that by calling our phone number, which is 616-259-0025. You can leave us a voicemail there. If you really, really, really hate voicemails, you can also send us a text. Or, as always, you can send us an email. We will take it that way. All we're asking is that you basically just tell us what the books mean to you.
Right. The other thing I wanted to bring up was our Instagram. So we posted the other day, Happy Birthday, Terry. But as it turns out, it wasn't his birthday. Now, Jade and I had posted on the Instagram in January,
right,
the 22nd, which is Terry's birthday. Happy birthday. So we thought we had it wrong. We're like, oh shit, we got it wrong. Well, let's get rid of that one. We'll put the new one up. And just hours after we had reposted, hey, apparently we had it wrong. Happy birthday, Terry. Terry came out and said, no, it's not today, guys. It's in January.
Yeah. And I feel like when I posted in January, I found something about that. Like, it stirred something in my brain when he posted that. But, I mean, I still made the double mistake of removing and then reposting. And so, happy late birthday again, Terry. It's not your birthday.
You have a very merry unbirthday to you, sir.
Right.
Yes.
Right. At least he gets 2 days of love a year.
Right. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. And it didn't seem like he was mad about it either. He just wanted the clarification. Like, I appreciate it. Thank you. But, like, January.
Yeah.
If you want to get the actual day.
But seriously, you type in Google, it pops up, big giant letters, May 1st. But for right now, we're going to talk about this chapter.
Yes.
In this chapter, Richard gets to see all his friends again. So, yay! It's not exactly the happy reunion he wants it to be.
No, fuck no.
So the chapter starts out, and Richard has been looking for Zed and Kaylin on the back of Scarlet for a while.
Yeah, he's frustrated. He is cold. We totally called that in an earlier episode.
Yeah.
Where we were joking about how freezing he was, and he doesn't have leathers, so it would be awful, and nailed it.
Yeah, Scarlet's fine because she's got leather and scales and shit, but he's not. So while he's on the back of Scarlet, she kills a deer, like, real fucking intimidatingly.
Super fast and easy.
Yeah, and he's like, oh man, she could kill me so easy.
Yeah, I mean, you just met this creature, and you have an accord. You've helped her find her baby, so you could assume that she's out to help you too, but really, if she ever got tired of you or didn't want to help you anymore, or maybe was hungry,
yeah,
it wouldn't take but anything.
Yeah, you'd be done. So they eventually have to cut the search for the night and go back to the egg. She brings the deer with them, and they end up sharing it. There's a moment where Richard cooks the part of the deer like a badass.
Yeah. He asks her, will you cook it for me? But you know that he looked at it for a minute and went, oh, instead of building a fire, I can do this super fucking cool thing. Who doesn't want to have food cooked by dragon fire?
On a sword.
On a sword. Oh, that's so much cooler.
All he needs is a tanker of ale in the other hand, and like it's a whole thing.
I want to do that for my birthday, Jade. I know the dragon thing might be a bit much, but we could probably substitute it for a flamethrower of some kind.
Yeah.
But what you just described is the coolest thing that could ever happen to anybody.
Yeah, I feel like that's a poster.
Oh, it's gotta be. Oh, we need to make that a thing.
Yeah.
Would you guys like a hoodie?
Like in the style of, like in my head, in the style of like those really bad Vans.
Oh, yeah, all the airbrush.
Yeah.
So Richard gets to just be awesome on top of a mountain
Yeah.
with a dragon and a little baby dragon.
Yeah. Just hanging out with his friend, eating some fucking meat. Richard at this point knows that if he can't find the last box, he's going to have to save everybody and tell Rawl. He doesn't really have a choice. He can't just be like, not my problem.
Yeah, he's going through his options, and the only thing that looked any good to him is the one where Kaylin has a somewhat, not really a great existence, but she won't be tortured.
Yeah.
You know, she won't be handed to the Mord Sith to do whatever it is they want to do to her. And Dark and Rawl will at least treat her, I mean, probably awfully, but like...
less awfully.
Less bad, yeah. And he's willing to do that to save everybody else.
Right.
He's made that choice.
Yeah.
So the next morning, Richard and Scarlet get back at it. They're flying low over woods and fields. I don't want to say they're near towns, but like anytime they see a person traveling between these towns, anyone obviously going from the Midlands towards Dahara,
Yeah.
they're trying to get a good look at.
Yeah. Which would be terrifying to all those people.
Yeah. Is that a dragon? Holy fuck, is that a dragon? Is it coming towards us?
It doesn't even matter what's on the dragon. It's a dragon coming close enough to see you.
That's bad enough.
Yeah.
Any dragon is coming close. It's time to get away from the dragon. I don't know if you know this, but they can eat a deer in a snap.
Yeah.
So.
And also the fire thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They don't even have to get you to get you.
So eventually, after most of the day, they see the three of them on their little horses and they go to land.
Do they have little horses, Jake?
Yeah, they're trotting along.
They're cute.
Yeah.
They just got some ponies.
They all get off their ponies and stand waiting for Richard to get off.
So it says Richard is elated, and he hops off the dragon like a badass, and he goes running towards his friends, and Jade and I kind of imagined arms open like, hey, yeah, good to see you guys.
Like a happy golden retriever.
Yeah, but he's looking down at his feet because he's running, because he's happy to see them.
Yeah.
And he's doing that because he doesn't want to fall. So then when he looks up, speaking of fire, that's what he sees. But it's Wizard's fire, and it's coming right at him. Zed shot at him.
Yeah.
And Richard's confused. He draws the sword, and he holds it up against the Wizard's fire because, I mean, thanks, Shota, I guess.
Yeah.
Well played. You nailed it. And he's safe. He defeats the Wizard's fire, and he is angry that Zed would attack him that way. And he's like, why the fuck are you doing this? And it takes him a good, long time to come to the realization of what's going on.
Yeah. Like, kind of annoying amount of time because he's like, why? Why would you do that to me? And me and Nate had a little bit of a conversation about this because you feel like Richard, of all people, would have been in his head going over what he was going to do when he saw them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess there is somebody to talk to if you count the dragon. But yeah, on the way there, at the very least, you would be going over, when I see them, they're not going to like me because I look like Dark and Rawl.
Yeah.
How am I going to deal with that? How am I going to sign to them? Because he doesn't even know that they can't understand him yet.
Right.
But how am I going to prove to them that I'm dark, or that I am not Dark and Rawl? See, now I'm getting confused.
Right. And I know that he just dealt with the dragon and the egg and all that bullshit, but I feel like after you were done dealing with that, your brain would, like, that information you got from Dark and Rawl didn't just, like, slip out of your brain. It should be, like, the most important thing in your head. I know that, like, things happen quickly, so he was like, what the fuck? But then, yeah, I don't know. Then he didn't help matters by going from, like, happy guy to, like, angry guy stomping toward them.
Yeah, which is another thing you brought up. Once you figure out, hey, I look like Dark and Rawl, maybe take a gentler approach.
Yeah.
They think I'm the enemy, so how do I prove to them right now that I mean them no harm?
Yeah. So Zed and Chase stand their ground. They're like freaked out by him, and they're like, stay the fuck back. Zed is like, Chase, don't fuck with him.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're taking no chances.
At this point, Richard tries to start yelling at them and being like, I'm Richard.
Yeah, talking real slow and loud.
Can't you see me? And then they don't understand what he's saying. And actually, Kaylin actually says that she thinks he's saying words in Haida-Haran.
Which is news to Richard. Because until this point, Richard was under the impression that people would see him as Dark and Rawl, but he could say, hey, I'm really Richard.
Yeah.
This screws all of that up. They can't understand what he's saying either.
Shit.
Yeah. Big fucking problem.
But it is a good thing because Richard realizes at this point, obviously Zed isn't the bad guy because he's freaking out at me.
Yeah, I look like Dark and Rawl. That means he is loyal to me.
Right. At this point, he looks to Kaylin because she hasn't done a whole lot since he got there. She's just been standing there and he's like, do you see me? Do you recognize who I am? And she just kind of stands there with her head up and her fist at her side.
Yeah. Which I'll say right now is totally a nod to something that happens later in the books. That pose, that stance, it's important.
Yeah.
I won't say in which way, because I do know that there are people who have not finished the books that are also listening to this podcast, but that is very important later. And I just wanted to make a note of it now, because it's a really cool thing.
Yeah. So Zed put his fingers on Richard, giving him some pain, trying to keep him away from Kaylin, and Richard just, like, brushed it away, because he's been dealing with the Mord Sith. He just thinks about Denna's braid, and is like, I got this.
Yeah, he handles it. This kind of made me think a little bit about when Zed explained to Richard that there were tests of pain to become a wizard. And I know he was suggesting it at the time, and Richard's like, nah, man, I'm not going to be a wizard. That's nothing I need to have. But he's now passed a test of pain in a way.
That's a good point.
I mean, he may not be interested in what that means, but I've always kind of put that together with it happened, though.
Yeah, he endured his own test of pain.
Yeah,
in a way.
he totally did it.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't want to do it. Of course, he wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Or at least he didn't do it with the goal of becoming a wizard, but he did totally survive tests of pain. So it's not a closed option to him.
Yeah.
At this point.
So Richard looks at Kaylin super close and is like, who do you see? And he puts his sword to her throat, and he doesn't realize that he did it. He just all of a sudden has it in his hand at her throat.
That's not good.
Yeah.
You can't go accidentally pulling your sword on people, Richard. Like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I blanked for a minute. Why is everyone on the floor bleeding?
Oh my gosh, it happened again. That's funny.
But the sword is white when he's doing this. And Kaylin is like, what the fuck did you do to Richard? Because it looks like Darkin has the sword.
Right. And it's white, so he's doing some mysterious wizard stuff. Zed should know what this is, though.
I think that's why they're all like, oh my God, not only did he take Richard's sword, but he knows how to use it better.
Oh, yeah. And he can do the secret thing.
Shit.
Yeah, now we're double fucked. That is not good. I never even stopped to consider that. Dark and Rawl has the Sword of Truth. Why the hell does Dark and Rawl have the Sword of Truth?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, that has to be completely bizarre.
Well, I mean, they knew he was into Hara, so I think it would just be a sad thing at this point. Like, shit.
Obviously, he got Richard if he has the Sword of Truth.
Yeah.
The thing also that stuck out to me was that he has Kaylin by sword point. Nobody does anything.
Yeah. Well, Zed tried to stop him before he got there, but then he couldn't, and everyone just stood there like, oh no.
Just watching. Yeah, but like this happens, and Richard, he has Kaylin by sword point, and it's sad once he realizes what he did, but he has the blade turned white, so he is decided on doing something.
Yeah,